And you used the word ecosystem before, and I think that's exactly the right term, and it's a growing ecosystem. And as you flagged with your clients overseas as well, do you see any different nuances or challenges, I suppose, from an Australian context to the world, or to the world, bringing relevance here in Australia?
Yeah, look, every country definitely has nuances. The Singaporean government was the first government from an educative viewpoint, in my opinion. Let me preface that that really started issuing verifiable credentials for academic achievement at a governmental level. Australia is certainly moving in that direction, and there are certain conversations that people are having around the periphery around what all of that looks like. I think what's really important to understand with credentials, and I was speaking about this in the UK not too long ago with the government over there. Verifiable credentials have standards, which is very important, and interoperability is at its core, as we've sort of canvassed. But having country-specific rules and regulations are very critical as well. So what I mean by that is we at Learning Vault have created a product that is a verifiable credential that's called QVault, and that meets all of the requirements of the AQF 2007 documentation for certification and testimony issuance, which means any document under the AQF that is issued needs to be issued with these particular standards, and we bake all of those into compliant credential. You would not expect another country to have similar standards. So we did a similar thing in the UK, but we've had to create a UK specific product that meets all of their requirements. So I definitely think there needs to be customization and contextualization to make verifiable credentials fit for purpose for their country of origin. But I think the biggest thing is, and I'm talking to a colleague in another country about this, and they've sort of created a country-specific system purely for them, and they can't move outside of that ecosystem or that architecture. And I've just sort of said, well, you've kind of landlocked your country here. Like it's not useful outside of that. And we've, as you have as well, Dan, because I know we've been privy to some similar conversations. When we're talking with states or territories at a government level and talking about, being able to have verifiable credentials is important, but extending outside of the border is critically important, because we might have people studying in one state or territory that are looking to move to another state or territory, and having credentials that can operate across different wallets and areas is something that's critically important. I think from a credential standpoint, we have the ability to be nimble enough to be able to do that. We hear from clients all the time that have responsible service of alcohol that, it's different in New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria, etc. We're never going to be able to solve that. But from a technology viewpoint, Edalex and Learning Vault, certainly we can look at how we can make any of those systems and knowledge portability truly portable by adhering to those standards.
You're here. And yes, I think that creating artificial barriers for learners and assuming they will only stay in one country or only in one discipline or one vocation, we're seeing more and more. Those truly are artificial barriers, and technology should be liberating them rather than creating a walled garden and presuming that their knowledge only comes from a single source.
Absolutely. And I mean, when you start thinking about, post-COVID, I mean, there are certainly a lot of changes that have happened during that 2-year period that I think are not necessarily going to change. So we've got a borderless society now where students can literally study internationally, but from the comfort of their own home. So being able to have systems that can increase the efficacy of that process, I think, is something that needs to be explored further.